Welcome to Crypto Wise, a couple of wise guys talking crypto. All right, folks, today we have some really exciting news. I had to jump on here. It's Milton. I'll be your captain for this video. I had to jump on today to share with you, if you have not heard yet, Bitcoin had some incredibly bullish news today. Okay, Jack Dorsey of Twitter fame, of Square fame, he says that Square has put $50 million of their reserve into Bitcoin. Okay, before I go through the story with you, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, do all three, please. You know it helps. It will help other people find us. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's get straight into this story. Okay, this here is Jack Dorsey. If you don't know Jack Dorsey, I don't know what kind of rock you've been living under, but he is the real deal, okay? Estimated worth $10 billion. Obviously one of the co-founders of Twitter, one of the co-founders of Square, and also the CEO of both of those companies since 2015. Okay, in April, he promised to give away $1 billion for COVID relief, and 2016, he famously gave away a third of his Twitter shares to employees. This guy is the real deal. He has been helping build the cryptoverse for years now, and today, well, actually, technically yesterday, he made a major move that is going to make Bitcoin scarcity so crazy, okay? This is why this is such big news. If this doesn't sound like that much, you're like, oh, Milton, whatever, 50 million, whatever, that's nothing. Yeah, I guess in a vacuum, if one company had put 50 million into Bitcoin, that wouldn't be a big deal. But this is coming not even a month after the whole cryptoverse went crazy, because MicroStrategy, if you hadn't heard about this, MicroStrategy was the first publicly traded company to put a portion of their reserves into Bitcoin. Lost it. Okay, they were sitting on a big reserve of US fiat, okay, US dollars. And they thought, okay, well, we got to do something with this US dollar because we don't trust it. We got to hedge against this. And they put $425 million into Bitcoin. And now we have Square putting 50 million into Bitcoin. Okay, so that's one, and then there's two. Okay, and you know what that means? This is just the beginning, folks. Okay, there are hundreds of other companies right now looking into buying Bitcoin to hedge against their US dollar reserve. And why is that? Well, we've been talking about this forever in this space, okay? It's about hyperinflation, okay? Look at this article, the emerging evidence of hyperinflation, okay? The dollar's inflation. No doubt, the reluctance to reduce or at least contain budget deficits is ruled out by the presidential election in November. Fine. But whoever wins, it seems unlikely that government spending will be reined in or tax revenue increased. Okay? And then they have this chart. Since the Lehman crisis in August 2008, which coincidentally was the event that sparked Satoshi Nakamoto to invent Bitcoin in the first place, okay? Now we're going through this COVID pandemic, which is the first real economic crisis since the creation of Bitcoin. Okay, this is the chart. Since that crisis in 2008, the pace of monetary inflation has accelerated above its long-term average, and the effect is illustrated in this chart. Okay, let's look at this. So this line here, okay, you have both of the inflation lines going at once, and then this would have been the normal increase for inflation. But here, we have 2008, okay, the mortgage crisis, and then boom, look at that, since then, and then here we've got COVID. Okay, hyperinflation is real, and it is coming faster than any of us are ready for. So these two companies, MicroStrategy's number one, they were the first ones to do this. They put a 425 million, and now today Square puts in 50 million. Essentially, the financial payments company said it bought about 4,709 Bitcoins, representing about 1% of Square's total assets of the end of the second quarter. Okay, so they've just put in 1%. Okay, they're not going all in on Bitcoin, but that doesn't matter. All we need are 100 companies to put 1% of their reserve in. That how much scarcity that would create in Bitcoin. Okay, this is mind-boggling. This is huge news, and people really need to understand what this means. Okay, so let's look at this 4,709 Bitcoin. Do some quick math. All right, and it's about $10,700 per Bitcoin, okay, which is market value right now. And this is great news, but you know what makes this news even bigger, okay? It's who did it, Jack Dorsey, okay? Because this guy, he's not just in it for himself. He wants the whole industry to do well. He believes in this stuff. So what did he do today on his Twitter feed? Okay, this is what he did. He announces this. more important than Square investing 50 million in Bitcoin is sharing how we did it so others can do the same. This is amazing. This is huge. Okay, he basically puts out a blueprint for other companies to be able to do what Square did today. Okay, he puts out a white paper, the Square Inc. Bitcoin Investment White Paper. He walks people through. Okay, if you're a CEO of another company right now, you have no more excuses. Okay, Jack Dorsey just gave you the blueprint. This is what you do. Okay, and I'm telling you, in any business, it's about copycats. Okay, now that you have two major companies doing this, I guarantee you, in the back rooms of hundreds of companies right now, they're talking about this. Okay, and once the third comes in and the fourth and the fifth, then it's just going to be an avalanche of companies needing to do this. Okay, so they talk through, in this white paper, they talk through what they did. Okay, so they were buying $50 million in Bitcoin. So how do you do that without making the price just jump like crazy before you get what you want? So in terms of execution, they say to maintain transaction privacy and price slippage on execution, Treasury purchased the Bitcoin over the counter with a Bitcoin liquidity provider that we currently use as part of Cash App's Bitcoin trading product. Now, Cash App is a product that Square offers. Okay, that's their app where you can buy Bitcoin. It's a fiat on-ramp. You can buy and sell Bitcoin. Okay, so they have liquidity providers of Bitcoin for Cash App, and they don't say in the white paper who they are. But we did some digging, and in the past, these were companies that Jack mentioned as being liquidity providers for large purchases of Bitcoin. Okay, so he talked about Circle, Itbit, Genesis, Cumberland Mining, Kraken, Bitfinex, Changelink, HIT BTC, Athena Investor Services, SFox, Octagon Strategy, and of course Coinbase, Coinbase Pro, and Bitstamp. Okay, so although he doesn't say it on the white paper, more than likely he bought the 50 million of Bitcoin through a number of these, and they did this yesterday, folks. Okay, October 7th, 2020. Okay, so they bought yesterday, right? And we can go and look at the price. The price didn't move all that much yesterday. And behind the scenes, Square was buying up 4,709 Bitcoins. Okay, so that's how they did it. Then they go into custody. Okay, this is another big issue for companies. Oh, Bitcoin, how do you hold Bitcoin? I'm worried I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose my keys or whatever the dumb excuses people have. Well, this is where Jack is a genius. Cash App has a custody service. Okay, it's called Sub-Zero. And here's a little article that they posted about it in 2018. Okay, so they have their own Sub-Zero, which is Cash App's custody arm, is an enterprise offline Bitcoin wallet. Okay, so one specific customization we implemented is the ability to enforce that cold wallets can only send funds to a Square-owned hot wallet. And then the cold wallet, which is physically secured, remains offline throughout its lifetime. Like all cold wallets, this provides assurances about its integrity while the supply chain needs to be secured. Unauthorized modifications of the active system is unlikely. Okay, and then they have a diagram here of how it works, but this is a great article just talking about Sub-Zero if you're more interested. But the important part here is he's getting rid of the excuses for other companies. Okay, he's saying this is how we bought a lot of Bitcoin without jacking up the price. This is how we're holding our Bitcoin. We're not worried about it. But then he goes on. He says, look, we love the way that we're holding it. Sub-Zero is a great way to hold your Bitcoin, but, you know, stuff happens. And if it does, just get insurance, okay? So Square maintains a crime insurance policy to protect against internal or external theft of Bitcoin. It's like any other asset for a company. And this is what CEOs are starting to understand. Okay, and then again, the next step is accounting. These companies, you know, they're publicly traded companies. It's very strict accounting protocol. And that scares a lot of these traditional companies to enter the crypto space. But Jack gives them the answer right here. And there's a great resource for them that he shares, and it's the AICPA, Accounting for and Auditing of Digital Assets. All the questions that they have are answered right here. So that's not an excuse anymore for people. Okay, so that's it. And what I love here is Jack throws in the not investment advice, like any good crypto YouTuber. And that reminds me, I got to say, guys, just remember, CryptoWise is not financial advice. I repeat, CryptoWise is not financial advice. But guys, wow, this story is huge. Okay, I know I'm pumped up today, and you might think, wow, you know, whatever. What did Bitcoin price do today? Not much. Okay, let's see how it reacted. Okay, it was at 10,600, and then this is boom. Okay, everyone was expecting a breakout today, and that they thought it was going to break either way. It went to 10.9. Okay, that's pretty good. Did this news do that? Who knows, okay? A lot of the technical analysis said that there was going to be some sort of breakout around today, and so who knows? But what I actually think is that people aren't actually costing this in yet, okay? We have two major companies who have bought at least 1% of their reserve, and they've put it into Bitcoin, okay? When that goes to 50 companies, to 100 companies, to 200 companies or more, the scarcity of Bitcoin is going to be unbelievable. Okay, so those of you who have been waiting, who are on the sidelines, who don't have Bitcoin yet, okay, this is not financial advice, but I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm trying to accumulate right now. Okay, I want as much Bitcoin as I can get before the rest of these companies jump on board. Okay, and to prove to you that I'm not the only one who thinks this way, let's jump to our good friend here, Pentoshi, one of my favorite crypto Twitter followers, and he says, right here about an hour ago, companies are racing to get approvals to make Bitcoin part of their treasuries. 2 down. Okay, MicroStrategy, Square, 98 to go. First movers have a huge advantage as the float dries up. I completely agree with this. I can't imagine we don't see new all-time highs in 21. There will be dips and short-term bear trends, but the trajectory is up BTC. I cannot agree more. Guys, this news of public companies holding even a fraction of their reserve in Bitcoin, honestly for me, is the most bullish news for Bitcoin in years. All right, well, that's all I wanted to jump on today and walk you through. Thanks for watching CryptoWise. Hey, give us a follow on Twitter @CryptoWiseDaily. We'll see you next time.